Thank you very much. Laura and I are delighted to be here. Actually, we are. We got to learn to laugh in this town. And I appreciate the humor. I really do. I think a society that can poke fun of its political leaders is a society that's a competent society and a free society. So we're delighted to be here. And I was looking forward to doing a little poking myself. But in light of this week's tragedy at Virginia Tech, I decided not to be funny. Many of the men and women in this room have spent this week reporting from Blacksburg, Virginia. You have interviewed grieving students and faculty members. You have spoken with the families who lost a child. You have brought home to millions of Americans the sense of sorrow and loss that the Virginia Tech community is going through now. And I appreciate your work. At a memorial service on Tuesday, I told the university community that people all over this country are thinking about him and many are praying for him. And so, really, this dinner comes at a good time. It's been a tough week for a lot of folks, particularly the folks at Virginia Tech. And so I'm not going to try to be the funny guy, but I had the opportunity to introduce one who will be. And so, thanks for the dinner, and it's now my honor to bring to this podium a talented and good man, Rich Little.
Thank you, Mr. President. I can't wait to get home and add you to my resume as being an opening act. I am delighted to be here this evening, and my wife is with me too, and this is a great honor to be back doing this dinner once again. I did it in 1984, and they said to me, the committee in '84, Rich, if you do a good job, we will have you back. Of course, I had to wait until everybody died, but that's okay. I want to tell you right off the top that I am not a political satirist. I'm not up here tonight to make any point politically. Believe me. I'm an impersonator, basically. Do a lot of impressions of people, and some of them are politicians. You know, I'm a nightclub entertainer that tells a lot of dumb, silly, stupid jokes, you know? And I'm just here tonight to try and make enough money to get my relatives out of Canada. Speaking of Canada, did you hear what John McCain said about Canada the other day? Well, I like Canadians. I like Canada. I think they're good people. The only thing that I don't particularly like about Canadians is the way some of them come down across our borders and take jobs away from our Mexicans. Did you hear about the 3 Canadian hunters from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan? Now that's cold up there. 3 Canadian hunters were out in the woods one cold afternoon. And the first Canadian hunter says, "Look at this, Charlie. Deer tracks here, right in the snow. We got deer here. This is our lucky day." Second Canadian hunter says, "Deer? Are you crazy? I've been hunting all my life. Those are elk tracks. We got elk here." Third Canadian hunter says, "Elk? Deer? Those are moose tracks. Moose, for heaven's sakes. No, they're not. They're elk. No, that's deer. No, it's moose. Anyway, while they're arguing, a train comes along and hits them. Did you people get this? There are train tracks in the... Did this table over here? Did you get that? No, you didn't. You lie. You didn't get that. Are you from the New York Times? You're from the Times and you got that? 3 copies of Culture Warrior are going out to you tomorrow, because we're looking out for you. You know, it's hard to know who to impersonate up here for you tonight, because everybody's got a favorite, and I do around 200 impressions. I mean, I could possibly do somebody like, and he's perfect for an impression, because he's larger than life, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Governor of California. You know, a lot of people, you know, when they meet me, they're intimidated by me. They don't know what to call me. You know, should they call me Arnold? Should they call me Arnie? You know, Governor Schwarzenegger. Do you know what I prefer to be called? President Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what I want. I could do for you tonight a guy that I did a lot back in the 70s, Johnny Carson. And I love Johnny Carson. Carson was the best, wasn't he? And he had so many different tics, you know. You know, I've been married 4 times. And the last divorce was the worst. Because after that divorce, I was so upset, I went into a bar, I sat down on the bar, I don't believe I said this because this isn't really like me, but I was really angry. Forgive me for saying this. I actually yelled out in the bar, "All lawyers are assholes." And the guy next to me says, I resent that. I said, "Really? Are you a lawyer?" He said, No, I'm an asshole." Anyway, I sat in the bar with this clown for the whole evening. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, the bartender said, "Gentlemen, it's time. I'm closing up." And at this point, this joker that I'd been sitting with fell off the stool. He couldn't get up. He tried 3 times to get up. He could not get up. So I went up to the bartender and I said, where does this guy live? And the bartender told me, so I picked him up and carried him out to my car. And I drove him over to his house. And when we got there, I couldn't get him out of the car. So I dragged him out of the car, lifted him up one more time and carried him up his front porch and rang the doorbell. And his wife came to the door and I said, "Madam, this is your husband. I'm bringing him home from the bar." She said, that's very nice of you, but what did you do with his wheelchair? Okay. Do you know who else I could do for you tonight? And I love... You thought Colbert was bad. I I love to do this guy, Andy Rooney from 60 Minutes. That little curmudgeon that you see at the end of 60 Minutes every week. The thing about Andy is, he's always asking questions. Everything with Andy Rooney is why. Here's a few things that bother me. You know, if you're scared half to death twice, what would happen to you? If you want to grow seedless watermelons, what the hell do you plant? Here's something else that I don't understand. How do deer know to cross those little yellow signs? You ever wondered about that? This is stupid. If those signs were intended for deer, they would have been printed in deer language. Dumb. Here's something else. If the sign makers, people who make signs, if they go on strike, what the hell do they hold up? If your vacuum cleaner sucks, is that a good thing? And why do they call it an asteroid when it's outside the Earth's hemisphere and a hemorrhoid when it's in your butt? I don't understand that either. You know, when big companies ship styrofoam, what the hell do they pack it in? If you choke a Smurf, what color would he turn? If you overdose on Viagra, how would you get the coffin lid closed? Did you ever think about this? I think about it all the time. Probably have to wait for a couple of passing elephants to come by. Andy Rooney of 60 Minutes. Thank you very much. Let's do some more politicians. Tonight we'll be looking to see what's cooking in Washington, D.C., and the big White House and the Congress halls and the U.S. Treasury. This capital city of the wise and the witty has presidents by galore, Republicans and Democrats and bureaucrats galore. Sing a little song all about the throng in Washington. Make a little toast and we're gonna roast how things are done. Tell a little joke and we're gonna poke a lot of fun. Poke a lot of fun at Washington. I'm gonna do 6 presidents for you right now. 6 presidents. Starting off with one of my favorites. I love the man, I got to know him, Ronald Reagan first. Who the hell are you people? Well, you know, somebody asked me the other day, they said, Mr. President, do you think the war on poverty is over? And I said, yes, it was. And the poor lost. They did. You know, they should have quit when they were ahead. And of course they didn't, and we knew this. But nonetheless, at that particular time, we were willing to negotiate with a group or a fraction within the group that was willing to negotiate with us. And we went in there knowing that we weren't going to show up. And when we got there, we realized they weren't there either. So then we wondered why the hell we went in the first place. My God, if they weren't there and we weren't there, why did we even consider to go there at all? This was a waste of time and, frankly, un-American. We put a lot of time into this and a lot of money, and we didn't show up, but they didn't know that. They should have been there. So we learned a lesson from this, and I don't think we'll ever forget it, and that is the next time we're put in a situation like this, well, hell, we're staying at home. Sing a little song all about the throng in Washington. Tell a little joke and we're gonna poke a lot of fun. Poke a lot of fun at Washington. Next president, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter.
Hi, this is Jimmy Carter. Listen, I'm here to solve your problems. If you got a problem, hop down, I'll solve it. Whether you want me to or not, I really will. I'll be there for you. You know, about 30 or 35 years ago, I owned a peanut farm in Plains, Georgia. And I had the biggest and best nuts in the country. I did. They were huge. And those nuts, those peanuts that I had back then really came in handy later when I became president of the United States, because I went to the Arabs and I said to the Arabs, I said, listen, if you give us all the oil that our country needs, I will personally give you all the nuts that your country needs. We will make an exchange, oil for nuts. And then I said, if something goes wrong and you cut off your oil, then we'll cut off your... Sing a little song all about the throng in Washington. Tell a little joke and we're gonna poke a lot of fun. Poke a lot of fun at Washington. All right, next up, two presidents. I'm gonna do Bill Clinton for you and George Bush Sr. Okay? First of all, here's George Bush Sr. Okay, gotcha. Okay, understand. Good to be here. You know, the other day, this is true, the other day I was talking to my good friend Bill Clinton. You know, I was talking to Bill, and I said to him, you know, Bill, we've known each other for a long time. I've never asked you this before. What's your favorite city in America? If you had to pick one city, what's your favorite city in the U.S.? Well, gosh, I don't know. I've got a lot of favorite cities. I don't know whether I could pick one. I would probably say New York City's one of my favorites. Plains, Georgia is another. I would probably say that Chicago. I think Chicago is probably my favorite of all American cities, Chicago.
Chicago? Listen, that's the worst damn city in the United States. I don't know why the hell you'd pick Chicago. I can't stand Chicago. All they've got in Chicago, believe me, are hookers and hockey players.
Did you know